Hi honeys, and welcome back to Girl Do It For You podcast. I'm your host, Ashlea Chapdelaine. Let's get right on into it. Hi honeys, and welcome back to another episode of Girl Do It For You. We have Becca. Welcome.
Hello.
So we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're here with one microphone, but...
We're cheering. It's fine.
Yes, I feel like we got it. So this week, I just kind of want to talk about being a strong, independent woman, because I feel like the way social media is kind of going, everyone's trying to revert back to, kind of the old ways of
Traditional.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's also no, you're allowed to still be a strong, independent woman. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still a thing, so I just want to talk about it.
I feel like we're both in a unique place where we are married and
Yes.
we love our husbands
Yes.
and we do have that kind of traditional lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
But we still do our own thing too.
Yeah, our husbands also support the fact that we can do what we want to do. They don't have to be involved in everything. They don't have to control that. We don't have to ask permission.
Right.
We just kind of do.
Right.
And then we're like, hey, by the way.
P.S.
Yeah. So we're gonna be doing this. So I want to talk about okay, let's go relationship wise. So obviously there's two people in a relationship. It's their opinions matter, but also I don't have to ask you if I want to go out with my friends. I don't have to ask you if I'm gonna go cut my hair, that kind of thing. And I feel like the way people are going lately, it's oh, I want a man to be in charge and kind of be the one who makes all the decisions. And it's two people's opinion in a relationship.
Yeah.
Both are valued.
I think it was really important to me to feel respected.
Yeah.
And I dated people in the past where I didn't feel that way.
Right.
With Kevin, I do want him to make big decisions, and I think he makes really good decisions, but I do the same thing too.
Yes.
I also make decisions.
Yeah.
And early on in our relationship, we kind of talked about what are the boundaries, right?
Yes.
What are the things that maybe we should discuss before we do? And then what are the things that I trust you, just run with it and I'm going to follow.
And I think that's such a thing. It's we have such a respect for them that we trust that they make the right decisions all of the time. And then it's but they can also respect that of us.
It's reciprocated.
Yes.
I don't want to be a parent and a child
Exactly.
in the relationship.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
taking care of you.
Oh, can I do this?
Yeah.
Or am I allowed? No, I like who he is as a person and he respects me the
Yes.
same way. So we're going to do what we want to do. And I know if he did something to piss me off, we could talk about it.
And he's not going to get mad at you for
Yeah.
it. And I think that's one of the other things about being just haired as a woman. When you date other men, obviously we've dated some skunks in the past, for a better word.
No shade.
Yeah, none at all. But they're insecure when you have a woman who's outspoken, a woman who doesn't need you. And I think that's such a good thing too. When we found our husbands, it was they know we're independent without them. They know we don't need them. It's we're here because we want to be here.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a big thing, as you see it with a lot of other women. It's maybe they feel they have to stay with people for certain reasons. And it's you're allowed to give your opinion. You're allowed to be loud. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to say how you feel about things. And if he doesn't like it, then he's not the one for you. And he's probably insecure that you are independent and stronger than he is.
Yeah, I mean, I got married super young.
Mm-hmm.
I met Kevin when I was 21 years old.
Right.
But I was in a place where my entire life was set up on my own without him.
Exactly.
I had a job. I had my own friends. I had things that I
Yes.
wanted to do. So it wasn't all completely dependent on him. It was I want to be with you,
Yes.
not I need to be with you.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's such a big thing for people. They don't realize that. And then they get stuck and then they're shit, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, and I feel bad. I've been in that position
for
before
sure.
too. When I was young and maybe you move in with someone
Yeah.
or all of your friends come from that relationship,
Yes.
it makes it really hard to walk away
It does.
even when you know that you should.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the right people will stick around and it'll be fine and it'll all work out. But how did you find dating insecure men when you were so independent and so strong? How did you find that?
It was really hard for me because I felt like I wasn't respecting myself in a way. I had a boyfriend in college one time who told me, you either need to stop going to school or you need to work less. And his reason for that was so that I could clean his apartment and hang out with him more. Like, sorry, I'm super ambitious. Like, I'm not gonna stop going to school.
No.
I'm not gonna stop working. I'm not gonna stop
The
going after what I want for you.
to clean your house.
Yes, and he was older than me, so like he had already accomplished school and done those things. So I'm like, and I felt in that moment, I was like, if I don't break up with you,
yeah,
I'm not respecting myself
and
because I know I deserve better than
you're gonna
that.
become a maid for life.
Yeah.
I don't know any other word to describe men like that but insecure, because they see how strong you are and they see that you're gonna put yourself through school, you're gonna get yourself a good job, you're determined, you don't mind working, having long days and putting like stress on yourself to get to the end goal, and then they are like, oh, she's very independent, she doesn't need me, she can do this by herself, so then they're insecure in themselves.
Well, I think that's a difference in a lot of like relationships versus girlfriendships.
Yeah.
Girlfriendships, I truly want my friends to do as good as or better than me.
Yeah,
I'm cheering
absolutely.
you on. A lot of men tend to be more insecure in that sense in a relationship where they want to make more money than you. They want to be ahead of you in life. They want to be above you.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a man who wants you to truly be his equal.
Yeah, and I think that was something that made me think of this episode too, because the way everyone's going back to traditional, and there's nothing wrong with it if that's how you want to be. I mean, eventually I want to be a stay-at-home mom and he can pay all the bills. Okay, we'll get there. But I also want to make more money than him if I can, because I want to do that for me, and I want us to be, and we've even joked about it, like he's like, if you go and make more money than me, then I gotta go make more money than you, and then you're gonna, and I was like, it's gonna be a competition, and he was like, that's not a bad one to have, and I was like, no, because it's like, we can keep going together and we can both get like push yourself to what you can do, because it's like, and he always tells me too, he's like, I know you can just set your mind to something and do it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
You can.
So it's like, it helps with their vote of confidence in you too, to be like, yeah, go do that when they're encouraging of you to go make more money or not be in stay at home, do anything, like just not to take care of the house, like, and they want to help, like clean, do the laundry, you know, it's not just like, oh, the wife's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, not everything's about money, but right now we don't have kids. We're just sort of focused on that. So that is sort of a fun competition that we have. But I think in general, having a partner that wants you to have hobbies, wants you to have interests, wants you to have friends. It doesn't even have to be a career. It can just be anything outside of sitting at home and only hanging out with me and cooking and cleaning. And you know, I'm a terrible cook. I don't cook. Sometimes Kevin will grill or we just make like really easy things, but he also helps me around the house with stuff. And it's not like I have to ask. It's the mental workload too. Yes. Of being like, what are we gonna eat tonight? Like
that, or even like coming home from work and being like, okay, so I have to do the floors, and then the laundry's overflowing, so it's like it's always on your mind.
And it's like, oh, if I don't do it, do I have to ask you to do it? Like he just thinks, like he actually does those things. Yeah, and we take care of the house together.
Yeah, and I feel like that makes it more equal, and it makes you have more time for hobbies. Yeah, because in turn, it's like it's all a give and take, and it gives you the time to sit down and be like, oh, you know what? I actually want to go do this today because I don't have to clean or cook or think of it because he's got it too. Yeah. So it's like a nice give and take for that way of a relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Agreed.
So being a strong woman and being hired mostly for work related, because we both kind of work in male dominated fields. Yeah. And you're in sales, and that's very hard to be hired sometimes. And so how have you found working in a male dominated field and making a space for yourself, making a voice for yourself?
I will say I've been really lucky. I'm really picky about who I work with. So pretty much every manager, or VP, anyone that I've had has been a man, and 99% of my teams have been men as well. Yeah. But before I choose where I want to work, I talk to people like actual humans. Yeah. And so I am really picky and selective about who I work with. So I haven't really had a ton of trouble in that place.
Okay, well,
I've like made sure to be around people who respect me. There have been instances though that I feel like my accomplishments get discredited. Right. People have made comments that, oh, it's easy to close deals because you're pretty or you're flirting with them or this and that. And it's really not. No. Maybe 1% of the time somebody will strike a conversation with me because they think it'd be fun to talk to me. Right. But I could say the same thing for men. Yeah. We sell software to women too.
Exactly. So, you're like, oh, it's a woman on the other end. She thought you were cute.
Yeah. I have had to call people out on their bullshit. So that has been the best way that I have found to just earn respect. People might make like slight comments here and there. People aren't typically super bold to just be like, oh, you're different because you're a woman.
Right.
But they'll say things and you can tell that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And the sooner you call it out and the more blatantly you call it out, they pretty much back off instantly.
Because it'll make them uncomfortable, like, oh, she's calling me out because I said something wrong. And then if you do it in front of people too, it's like, oh shit, I look like an ass.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, you do.
I feel like if you don't call people out for their shitty behavior, then you're part of the problem too, because you
you're
have shown
allowing
them,
it.
I'm going to accept that.
Yeah.
I'm going to allow that to happen. I've had instances at conferences, in meetings, in-person events where people say things and I'm like, that's inappropriate, or
Yes.
that's not cool with me.
Yes.
I'm the wrong one.
Yes. Yes, she is.
I'm curious for you though. I mean, you work in an extremely male-dominated industry as well, with very strong personalities.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's interesting. It's better now. I will say again, I'm fortunate. My boss is very. He's not that person. He is a very nice person, and he's very respectful of women. So that's great. All my bosses have been like that, and even some of the people I've worked with have been very respectful. But 95% of people I work with are not. Those men are not respectful of women. I'm lucky enough that I don't really bump into them too often, but I've had little instances. I've never really had to say anything because my boss has always gotten to them first.
Oh, good.
Like, people will walk in and just blatantly ignore me when you come to my desk, and I'll
Yeah.
always just be like, hi, and they just like keep walking, and then sometimes they don't turn around, and then they'll try to catch my boss on the way out, and he's like, you address her, and then you address me. Like, that's how this goes.
Yeah.
So it's just that way, and it's the way of, my boss does stick up for me. Like, if we go to meetings and I have something that's my idea, he's like, no, like, speak up. What's your idea? Like, say what you
Yeah.
got to say, you know, contact Ashley. He's very big on that. But I will say there's been times where I felt like I'm just not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been saying something for, like, how I'm in charge of the hurricane stuff.
Yeah.
I have the hurricane board, and it has these little magnets on it for where everyone has to be when a hurricane comes. People will walk in and think that's funny to move their name, and I'll yell and be like, don't touch that. And they
Yeah.
think they're funny. And I'm like, and then I'm just not heard. And then they leave, and I have to go over and rearrange it all because they want to be with their buddies. And it's just like, if that was anyone else yelling at you, you'd be like, oh shit, sorry, whatever. Like,
It's almost like for men in the workplace, respect is just assumed.
Yes.
So they're automatically respected unless they do something stupid and
Right.
it's taken away. For us, we have to earn it.
Yeah.
We have to prove that what I'm working on is serious too, and I'm in
Yes.
charge of something, and you need to listen to me.
100%. And that's the way it felt with even just like silly emails too. Like, the smallest little thing would not get responses. And I'm like, what do you, like, I need, okay. And then boss is like, did we get answers on that? And I'm like, mm-mm. He's like, send it from my email, send it from his. Oh, look at that. Now they want to answer. Like, so he's always telling people, like, if she says something, it's me. It's coming from me. It's directly what I have said. You will answer her. And that's why I'm grateful for him. So it's kind of, I feel like if I didn't have such a strong boss in that way that to defend me, I probably would have more problems.
Yeah.
And even my boss before him was very much the same way. Like, if someone was snippy with me, he was like, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Come, okay. And my boss now, I'll tell him, and he's like, who was it? And they deal with it. But it's like, it shouldn't have to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think because it is that way, it's important. Both of us are just in an environment that
Yes.
doesn't tolerate that kind
Yes.
of behavior. And that's something that we have to look for when we're thinking
is.
of getting a new job.
It's a fear that you're not going to have
Yeah, I
good
mean,
coworkers or a boss. Or
My first boss, shout out Dave, he literally had my back to the point if I would call someone, and I was selling software to restaurant managers, which can be a little kind of hotheads, not the nicest people in the world.
No, they're not.
And there were a couple times where it made me really upset. Like, it got out of control. He would literally pick up the phone and call them back and be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, you're not going to talk to her like that. That's insane behavior.
Yeah.
But then also in the other token, it's like, why do people think it's okay to treat people like that? Like, with no respect? Why do you think you're better than people because of what?
Sometimes I do feel like it's like a generational difference too.
Yeah.
The
I see
younger
that.
people that I work with, they seem to treat everybody the same.
Yes.
People who have maybe been in the industry longer, or they're just kind of set in their ways, have this mindset that men do things one way and women do things a different way, and they put us in different categories. But I do feel like my Gen Z coworkers are more, everybody's on the even playing field.
Yes, which is how it should be. And it's like, I understand the generational, especially with mine. you know, my one coworker, she's always like, you know, it's just the way they are here. People are this way. And I'm like, why? And she's like, I know it's terrible, but you're just going to have to learn to play the game. It's just the way it is. And I think that also helps when if people are not going to respect you or people aren't going to give you the time of day, if you can learn, okay, that's how you want to play it. All right. And then you just play them at the same game. And eventually you'll get listened to, you know, whatever it is, but it's annoying, but you have to play the game.
It's almost like two can play at that game.
Yeah. Two can play at it. Not my boss texting me right now. Excuse me. Yeah, so I feel like that for male-dominated stuff, it's like you're ignored, you're questioned on what you have to say. Like if you say something and it's never just like, okay, well, I'll just ask blah, 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 and it's like someone else, and you're like, why do you have to verify that?
You have to prove yourself.
Yeah. It's like, no, what I'm saying is accurate, and then they're like, no, I'm gonna whatever, and then they come back, and you're like, okay. Anyways, like, we could have saved ourselves some time and that person.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been my biggest thing, is people will think whatever I'm saying is not right.
I also just choose my battles. Like, so many little things do go on that I just choose to not argue about, but men out there, we do notice. We notice everything.
We see it. Don't worry.
Professional social media stalkers. So retired crazy girlfriends.
Multiple Instagram accounts. It's fine.
I notice everything.
We see it all.
But sometimes it's just not worth arguing. I don't want to come across as petty or dramatic, but I know. I see it.
I see it, and it's just not worth my time or effort to argue with it. Yeah, no, for sure, get that. Okay, I feel like another way, like we kind of hit on this earlier with friendships, but some women look at other women, like their female friendships as competitions.
Oh, boy.
And I don't see it that way, and I know you don't see it that way, and we touched on that a second ago. It's like trying to find friends in your 20s, 30s, whatever. It's hard once you're out of school. Like, I feel like when you're in school and college and whatever, it's a lot easier. And even when you're first in, like, maybe the restaurant business or, like, if you're working retail, like, smaller jobs like that, when you're in school, it's a little easier to find friends that, you know, they come and go because we're just in it for the season and that's good. And then it feels like you have lots of friends. But then when you get out into the real world, it's, like, it's harder to find friends. And a lot of the time when you do, it's, like, we're not in competition. I just want to be able to like talk to my friend and not be like, oh my god, I'm being judged for this, or oh my god, if I say I got a raise, they're gonna be mad at me, kind of thing. And it's like trying to find real genuine friends is so hard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, once you're out of school, where are you supposed to meet people? And of course, being married, like my husband will introduce me to his friends, girlfriends, and wives. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. There's not always the best personality match, but when I am friends with a girl, sometimes I get to this point where I realize, like, does she actually hate me? Like, are we friends or are we enemies? And the biggest contributing factor for me is when you're friends with a girl, and you kind of said this, when you feel like you can't talk about anything good going on in your life. You have to minimize all your accomplishments because you know they're going to be jealous, or they're gonna like say something bad about it. Like even like when I was buying my house, I had people make comments to me about, oh, why would you buy it in this area? Why would you be here? This and that. And so if people are nitpicking little things that you're excited about, there's probably a bigger issue going on there.
That's, I feel like, like you don't realize it obviously when you first meet these people, and even sometimes you don't realize until the friendship's over, but you don't know, like, because they're your friends, so you only see the good, and then there'll be the little comments that happen, and you kind of sit there and you're like, wait a second, that was a little bitchy, like, where did that come from? I don't know.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know where the fuck that came from, that was out of left field. And then later you think about it and you're like, wait, was that like a jealousy thing? And I feel like no one ever really wants to admit or even acknowledge, like, you don't want to say, oh my gosh, she's jealous of me, because you don't want to be that bitch. But sometimes they are, and it's like hard to just be like, why are we in competition? Like, why can't we just both be happy for each other, both have our great things happening, whether it's babies, weddings, jobs, career taking off, like vacation, whatever. Why can't we all just be happy for one another? Like, why is it such a competition?
Sometimes it's hard to let go of girl friendships too, because you're thinking of all the social things, going shopping, going to like girls' nights, meeting other girls through them. So it's hard to let go sometimes, but I have just gotten to a point where I'm like, I would literally rather be alone than be around friends who treat me like shit.
Yeah, because especially if there's someone who does have that personality to make comments, or they're not making you feel good about yourself. So if you're hanging around with them, you're like, why do you leave? And you're like, I don't feel any, like, you should always feel so good after hanging out with your friends, not worse than before you got there.
Protect that peace.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'm not trying to leave, I don't know, shopping at the mall and feel like shit.
Yep.
Like, that's not, I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel like good outfits and all of this stuff. So it's like, yeah, but it's hard to see.
It's hard to see when you're in it. I think having really strong relationships with girls that you can trust sometimes helps.
Yeah.
Like, if I make a new friend, and this has happened,
right?
You meet them, or Jordan meets them, or somebody who I've known for a long time and I trust meets them, and they go, what are you doing? She is not your friend. She's a terrible friend to you. So I have women in my life who will call me out if they're like, why are you spending time and energy on that person? And yeah, you guys are usually right.
Yeah. But of course, you don't see it at first. You're like, oh, it's okay. I'll only hang out with her once a month, whatever. You're like, I don't see her all that often. You justify it. It's the same as relationships.
Yeah.
You don't know they're bad when you're in them until you leave and you're like, damn, I'm stupid.
Or you start telling somebody what happened and you're like, I'm not just sitting here trying to talk shit about you. I'm just genuinely saying what happened. And like, now that I'm repeating that out loud, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah. You're like, did I just say that? That's not... That actually happened?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you question it. It's like you talk things out with people or your husband or whatever, and then you're just like, wait a minute. Okay.
Like, that was
a little crazy.
I don't think you're a good friend.
I don't really like you, actually, now that I'm coming to realize it. But yeah, I just feel like taking up space, being heard, making a name for yourself, and I also I feel like it's really important, and I feel like I've heard women say this, and grinds my gears a little bit. But when people get married, they say, you know, you become one, what you do. And some women are like, well, you kind of give up your identity because you give up your maiden name. And I'm like, I don't think that's true, because you are still, your first name's still the same. You're still the same. The only thing that changed is your last name. If you want to keep your maiden name, I don't really care. Do what you want. But I don't agree with the fact that you're giving up your identity, because you're becoming one. You chose to become one with this one person. You want to have the same name as them, so that's what you're joining, and you're becoming a family, and that's now you. Like, your new name, that's now you. You've not gotten a whole new identity. Like, that's who you are. And so many people are like, I've heard it a lot, for if they're in college or whatever, they're like, oh, he didn't earn the degree, why is his last name going on it? And I'm like, it's your last name now. Because, okay, if I was to go and get I did get my degree, my maiden name, because we weren't married. Like, my degree's in meat. But now that I'm a Chapdelaine, that doesn't make it any different. Like, it's still my degree. Yeah. I still got that degree. It's mine. And now it's in a completely different name. Wouldn't it be better if it was in your name? Because now everything I sign is Chapdelaine.
Yeah.
That's so it's like, obviously it doesn't matter that that's in me because we weren't married, and that is what it is. But like, I don't see that as he earned the degree.
Yeah, I think that people should just take ownership of it. If you change your name or you don't, that's who you are.
That's you.
I think for me, it's less about, the piece of paper or this or that. For me, it's more about, I am married. My whole life does, in some ways, revolve around Kevin. I moved to Florida to live with him. Okay,
she gave up seasons for heat. Okay, she's crazy.
My life.
She's crazy.
But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna do things on my own. That was always really important to me. So traveling on my own, having my own hobbies, my own friends, people that I talk to.
Yes.
I don't run every single thing by him because I want to have that sense of control over my life.
Yeah, because it's your life.
And I think that it's completely fine to build your life 100% around your marriage.
Yeah.
It's the biggest decision you're ever going to make, but you don't have to lose yourself in it.
No, and they are the person. They're going to be there for everything in life. You're married, and it's till death do us part. Like, they're going to see you through friendships. They're going to see you through kids if you want to have kids, the loss of your parents, the loss of anyone. They're going to be there for all the hard moments, career changes, buying houses, going through the hard things. And it's like, of course I'm going to center my life around them, because they are the person who's going to be by my side for like 60 years. Like, they are it for you. So it's like, I'm going to prioritize that relationship, but I'm also going to prioritize myself and my independence. And that's where you're strong and you can stand on your own 2 feet. Like, if he's going to a work training, I'm not going to crumble. Well, he's gone for a couple of days. Like, I'll be fine. I'm actually looking forward to it.
We're going to party.
We are going to party. We're going to have a great time. But it's like, he is the most important thing to me, because that's that is what it is. Like, he's my husband.
And it sounds so annoying to say this because when I was single, I hated hearing this.
Are you going to be pick
when
me?
people say, when you know, you know.
Yes, I know.
But I truly hear stories from my friends who are single in the dating scene. It's horrifying.
Oh my God, it's horrible out there.
Terrifying out there.
Horrid.
I would just never put up with that stuff.
Yes.
And I think the higher standards you have,
Yes.
believe it or not, you will meet somebody someday who will put up with
You will.
exactly what you
Yes.
want and how you want to live your
Yes.
life. People tell me things that men say to them, things that they do, and I am shocked.
Yes. People have the audacity, and I don't know where the hell they found it. But that's why I feel like also being so strong and independent and being so secure in yourself, knowing your own worth and knowing that, no, you can't talk to me like that. Actually, I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to. Fix it or get to like, there's the door.
Yep.
And that is what, obviously you're going to date some people that you're like, no. But that's where when you find someone that's willing to, okay, you're right, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoke to you like that, and they fix their behavior, it's like, okay, you actually are wanting to try.
Yep.
And that's what makes people worth it. And that's why when people are like, why do you stand by your husband so much? Because he's really good, actually. He stuck by me through all this stuff. I stand by him. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, when me and Matthew first started dating, if he hears this, he's gonna laugh. We weren't actually dating yet. We were just talking and we were texting, and he was at work, and he worked down in Coral Springs at the time. So we rarely saw each other because he was working so late.
There, yeah.
And he worked Saturdays at the time, so he only had Sundays off. And I'd see him at night, whatever. But one day, like, I know, like, he's a mechanic. I know you're not on your phone. I understand. But he would respond every 2 or 3 hours, right? That's
Sure.
fine, whatever. I was a waitress at the time, so I would have random days off. But when I was working my 10-hour days, I didn't respond right away. So, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But when you're dating, you have to put in the effort, because if you're just talking to someone, in order for me to get to the dating stage to like you that much, you're going to have to text me back.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to put in effort. Otherwise, why? I'm not
I
going
have to get to
you.
know you a lot to make a decision.
Like, there's a lot here before I just date you, and then we get married. Like, it's a whole thing. So, like, you got to put in some effort. So one day I text him. I went to work. I checked my phone midway through. Didn't have a text back. I was like, whatever. Get to the end of my shift, nothing. So 8 hours had passed. He didn't answer me. So then eventually he texted me, and I literally answered and said, I like talking to you, but if you don't respond for 8 hours, I'm not speaking to you again. And he said, oh, that's my bad. I was at work. I said, it was, but if you want to continue to talk to me, you need to respond sooner than 8 hours. And he's like, yeah, you're right, sorry. Guess he started texting me back every like 2 hours ever since.
Never went 8 hours again.
Nope, never went 8 hours again. He only goes 8 hours when he's sleeping. Okay, never 8 hours again. I said, thank you. Because if you want to put in the effort, you will. And if you want to actually talk to someone, you will. And I understand, like, when we first met, we're like, we're not looking for anything serious. And that really was the intent, nothing serious. But 8 hours?
8 hours is crazy.
If we want to just be friends, you could at least text me back. And I remember that was what he's like, when we did start dating, he's like, I don't really want anything serious. And I was like, yeah, I know, but you got to at least answer me. You
Yeah.
can't just not answer me all day. Like, what?
Yeah.
If me and my friend in the middle of a conversation, you don't text me back for 8 hours, hello,
pissed.
911.
I'll be pissed.
The fuck are you doing?
I'll be tracking you on Find
Yeah.
Friends.
So you're home. What are you doing? Are you alive? Did you die? What's going on? Like, literally, like, 8 hours was crazy. And he fixed it. And I was like, see, you can't, because if I had let him just do that, one, we probably never would have dated. Or two, if we dated, I would have been dating someone who was really bad at communicating. And I need you to communicate with me. And I know that. So I'm going to tell you, no, I need you to answer me. This is ridiculous. And he's like, oh, shit, sorry. You're right. Got it. My bad. Fixed it immediately. Only had to tell him one time. Because put in the effort.
Well, I'm a very confrontational person.
Yeah.
I've just become that way. I'm that way at work. I'm that way with my friends. I'm that way with my relationship because I'm going to call something out if it makes me feel a certain type of way. I wasn't always that way. Mm-hmm. And I look back on it, why I think I'm so secure in my relationship now. I mean, people do crazy things and it just doesn't bother me now. I'm like, whatever. But when I wasn't maybe like so open and advocating for myself, I remember past relationships where I'd be sitting there looking through who are they following on Instagram, where is he, why
the
this
comments
that,
and the
Instagram comments
posts.
And I'm so stressed and I'm worried all the time what's happening behind my back. Mm-hmm. I don't worry about that with Kevin just because I know, one, he's not that type of person.
No, he's not
but
at all.
two, I am so secure in like my standards of what kind of behavior I'm gonna accept, and he knows that.
Exactly. And you know that he's not gonna do the things that you don't like.
Yeah.
And obviously we're married now, so it's like, yeah, you would expect that, but it's been that way since
the beginning.
Yeah, because you have to set, my therapist always told me because I was in therapy, not obviously for my relationship, but in therapy we talk about, relationships, and she was like, the first year of marriage, you have to set, she's like, it's kind of like the first year of your relationship again, because what you take in your first year kind of sets the precedence for the rest of your marriage.
Yeah.
She was like, so if you don't, because she was like, if you don't want to cook every night, you tell that now. You need to make that known that that's a thing. She's like, because if you just automatically do it, he's going to expect it because you did it.
Yeah.
Not out of any fault of his own, just because you simply did it.
Yeah.
And then when we were pregnant, she was like, when you have this baby, you have to be, no, you're helping, you're this. She's like, if you just think you're being nice and, oh, let me not wake him tonight, and then it turns into every night, she's like, he's just going to expect you to do it. She's like, out of no fault of his own, but that you set those expectations yourself. She's like, so you have to say, no, this is what I need you to do, and that's it. She's like, it doesn't have to be mean. And I was like, oh, okay, you just have to tell them. And they're not gonna, and I feel like my fear was, what if they get mad? What if he gets angry with me for asking? But, well, then you're not who I should be with. If I can't communicate and just say, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
And you get mad at me, like, then I was like, okay, that's something I need to work on. And I've done it, and oh my God, the stress. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you got dinner tonight because I really don't feel like it. Yeah, fabulous, cool, thanks so much. Like, little things like that. It's like, okay, and even because I was that person with dinner, that's why I used it as an example. I just cooked dinner every night because I liked cooking, and at the time when we first started dating, I didn't work full time and he did, so I was home a lot, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna cook dinner. I tried new recipes, and it was fun for me. But then when I did get a full time job, I was like, oh shit, I fucked some shit up. I was like, oh no, I was like, okay. And I had to say to him, and it was only like once or twice that I had to be like, look, I can't be cooking dinner every night.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, okay. He just asks, just let me know that day so that I can take food out and so that I know to plan. And I'm like, okay, that's all I ask. Just let me know that I'm the one doing it. Like, don't wait till I walk in the door.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, shit, I have nothing. I'm like, okay. So, and it works great. And I was like, why have I not been doing this?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it's just like the mental workload of things too. It's not like, it's great if you help do chores and you actually cook, but him just planning it, like you said, he knows, tell him a day, he takes care of the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about it.
Like, even the littlest things, we were down in Key West, and I was so stressed out because, I'm sorry, Key West was not my vibe. It was chaotic, it was hot, it was messy, everybody was drunk and dirty everywhere, whatever. Sorry for the Key West slander.
It's okay.
I was a little overstimulated.
Yes.
And so I go up into the restroom and I'm like trying to cool down, whatever. And I walk back out and Kevin had just like ordered me a drink and decided on what we were doing. I'm like, thank God I can turn my brain off sometimes around you.
Yeah, because especially in situations like that, it's good when they know you, they can see, they're like, okay, I need to figure something out because we've got like 5 minutes before she blows.
Full on meltdown.
Yeah, they're like, okay, hold on. Okay, and then you're like, I'm going to go take myself. And he's like, okay, well, she's gone. Drink and plan. We're good. Because they know you and they know, okay, this is not her vibe at all. And like, Becca had always wanted to go to the Keys. She thought she was
I was so mean to him for not taking me to the Keys. Like, any chance I got, I would be like, I moved to Florida. He hasn't taken me to the Keys. Never been to the Keys. Wish someone would take me.
Which, to be fair, they did it on a cruise, and so they only had a couple hours, whatever. And you can't get too wasted because you got to get back to the boat. Yeah. But it did give her the scene of this is the Keys. Now, I think she should try one more time. And I think we should stay in a hotel and go down to Wall Street at night and like actually get the whole vibe. Because yes, Key West is dirty when you're sober and it's during the day. But when you get a drink in you and you're the drunk person on the street, oh my God, Keys are fabulous.
Okay, I'll give it another chance. Yeah. I will. I mean, we got a little golf cart and we were riding around and stuff. My big thing was there's chickens everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm really afraid of birds, so that was a little one like jumped up on a fence and it was like making noises at me. And then I also saw these massive iguanas.
Yeah.
Those are like dinosaurs. That was pretty scary. So I'm not totally in tune with the wildlife in the area.
No, I'm not either, so it's very valid. Like, I think it's a very Florida thing, the Keys, and if you're from Florida, you generally don't mind all that stuff because the iguanas are just a thing. Like, Matthew's a Florida man, and he's like, oh yeah, let me pet it. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I think it's crazy. But like, the Keys, very touristy, very dark, like a city basically. But it's just really small.
Yeah.
And you're on an island.
I'd go again.
So, yeah.
I'll give it another shot, but it wasn't my vibe during the day.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's not somewhere you could go for more than like a couple days.
Yeah.
Unless you're staying not right in Key West. If you're in another key on like a little island time, then it's good. Then you go there for a drink, you come back. But it's very expensive. It's a very far drive for us, and it's just, I've been a couple times. I don't know that I'd be in a rush to go back, kind of thing.
When I was down there, honestly, I was like, I'm ready to go back to West Palm.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation and I like where I live better.
Yeah, get me back up there. I know a good rooftop, thank you, on the beach. Yeah, but it's like, I'm trying to think of a comparison, but I don't know. It's like anywhere you go drunk, it's great, like Miami.
Kind of like Nashville in a way.
Yeah, you're not doing that during the day sober.
Not Broadway.
I was gonna say, I'm not hitting I don't want to see that.
I'm good.
We're not doing that.
Nighttime only.
Yes, with lots of tequila.
Exactly.
Which, talking about Nashville, we're going on a girls' trip, not to Nashville, to Scotland.
Can't wait.
We're going to meet up with Rachel. You guys know her. We're going to attempt to do a podcast while we're there because that will be hilarious.
Yes.
We're actually getting on a phone call with Rachel here shortly to plan it. And oh my God, you guys, I'm actually going to vlogging it for you guys because I feel like this would be hilarious.
We have to.
Girls' Weekend went international.
We're literally traveling around the world.
Yes. I mean. Wild wives, okay.
Leaving the boys at home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Boys are staying at home. This is a wild wives weekend that's powered by Prosecco and tequila. It's gonna be terribly horrendous, and I'm so excited for the chaos. Of course,
It's gonna be so fun.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing in the best way. Oh, I'm so excited. But I think that's all I have.
I think that's everything. Thanks for having me.
Of course, you're always welcome on the podcast.
Thanks.
And thank you guys for listening. And as always, I will see you honeys next Friday. Bye.
Bye.